How does my hair look?
Dead sexy.
Cool. I didn't look at it before
After
I took a shower.
How does my face look?
Dead sexy.
Cool, because I didn't look at it after I rolled out of bed.
Hello.
Hello.
And welcome back to another episode of Breakroom Banter.
It's a hairstylist adjacent podcast where each week
Two friends
who also happen to be hairstylists
break down our weeks in the break room. I'm your host, Hunter Walden.
And I'm a host too. My name's Ericka the Red.
And that's the first time we haven't messed up that intro in a long time, honey.
We did so good.
Well, as we said, welcome back to another episode of Breakroom Banter. If you're new here, we start off every week with our peaks and our pits. I didn't really think of one this week, but I'll go second.
I was going to say, I'll go first. I know what my pit is.
Okay.
My pit is this DMV, Department of Vehicles. I am trying to follow the rules and the laws, and I'm having trouble getting my registration from the state of Oregon. It's being really irritating. But we'll get that handled.
Okay.
My peak would be, I don't know. To be honest, I've kind of had a blah week.
Yeah.
But I would say I got to sleep in. That was good.
You did.
I slept in. Hunter and I were supposed to work out and meet at the gym at noon today. And I wasn't expecting to, but I ended up cleaning the salon after work yesterday because we didn't have a cleaning person, which is, it's cool. It worked out for me. It's extra money.
Right. But
it meant I was there super late, which means it took me forever to unwind when I got home last night. And then I'm just kind of drained anyways. So, like, I expected to wake up around 10, maybe.
Maybe like 11:30.
Yeah, like, I did not expect to wake up at 12:45.
Well, and I was worried because I thought I was going to be late to the gym. And then I think I just went in and I started warming up. And then I called you just to make sure you weren't coming.
Yeah. And I didn't answer,
like,
obviously.
She's asleep. She's not coming. Yeah.
You were very like, hey, when I called you.
Hi. I was like, out of breath.
I'm like, hello, Hunter. I just woke up, bro. Sorry.
Well, that's going to be my pit, is that I had to work out in this new gym.
By yourself?
By myself, with all these people that looked like they know what they were doing. And I was by myself in this corner to start off with, and I was doing our little workout that you showed me. Mm-hmm. And then this girl with this phenomenal butt comes and starts working out right next to me on my left. Yeah. And then I'm on the ground doing the little ground thing, and I see this person walk up, and then I look up, and it's just a mountain of butt cheeks, and I'm like, God bless. And she's like, can I work out right? Yeah.
Do lemon crunches.
And she was like, can I work out right here? And I was like, yeah, sure, totally. Yeah. So I'm in the middle of these two women that just look like, and we're all doing legs, and I'm sitting there with like a 10-pound weight and a 2.5.
I mean, they started somewhere.
That is true. That is true. But that's my pit, is that I had to be by myself in this gym with all these people. But it's fine. I got over it. I actually ran into one of our coworkers' husbands.
Who?
I'll tell you after.
Okay, yeah. I just thought about that.
Yeah.
I just thought about that.
But that was funny.
Yeah.
He walked by, and like I thought I recognized him, but I mean, obviously we don't see him all the time. Yeah. But he waved, and then I was like, "Oh, hi!"
That's
like
funny.
I do know who you are. And then he came back and talked to me a little bit. But yeah, that was funny. And my peak is that it's stunning outside right now.
Yeah, it is a beautiful day.
Like, as soon as we get done here, we're going to go out and do something. I don't know what. I just don't want to be in the house today. Oh, and Louis got fixed.
Louis did get fixed. He's so calm right now.
He is so, well, he's very on a lot of medications. But he is very calm. And he hasn't peed in the house.
There you go.
It has only been 24 hours, but he hasn't peed in the house yet.
If he's high as
that's a record.
Yeah, if he's as high as he is and he hasn't peed inside.
Right.
That's good.
The vet did call Bradley, and apparently as they were taking him out of anesthesia or whatever, his heart rate dropped like a lot, and that scared him, so they had to give him a shot of adrenaline. And I was like, just like him to be an asshole.
I mean, you know.
So
the
yeah.
shoe fits.
Right. That's my peek in my pit.
Cool. What are we talking about today, Hunty?
So, we've already done an episode about time, but that episode was talking more about like our time.
Okay.
And I feel like a lot of times, like you be on the hairdresser gossip pages on Facebook and stuff, and it's always talking about our time as hairdressers.
Yeah.
And I saw a post today by Gina Bianca. I think it's I am Gina Bianca on Instagram if you guys want to go check her out.
Shout out, Gina.
Shout out. She will one day be on the podcast, but
Hopefully.
we've had...
I know.
we had to cancel the episode
twice, right?
Yeah. So anyway, I saw a post on her Instagram today where she was talking about us appreciating and respecting our guest time. So, and the way she kind of was talking about it was that we as stylists should speed up, because no one really wants to sit in the chair for 4 hours for a basic highlight retouch.
Yeah.
And so I thought we could kind of break that down, kind of dive into it, because I feel like there's a lot of factors that could go into play here.
Yes.
And it's not just the fact that we need to speed up, but why should we speed up and things like that. So let's dive right into it.
Let's do
it. Go ahead.
So we'll put it this way. So your clients we want clients that respect our time, but we have to respect our clients' time too, because they have lives as well, right? Being conscious about your time is going to add a lot of value, predictability, and consistency to your schedule, as well as to your client schedule.
Well, and I think we've talked a little bit about retention before.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about retention and getting guests to come back repeatedly, it is about the value that they see in you. It's about the consistency that you offer and the predictability. And I feel like there are some cases, you brought this up, that clients really don't mind.
Yeah.
To be there for a long time.
Yeah.
I have one client in particular that like comes to my mind right now. She has a pixie cut and it's an all over color, and I use semi-color on her. So it literally only processes for 20 minutes. Her appointment's maybe an hour and a half tops, but she wants me to take longer because she wants to be out of the house and like relax. So a client like that, I'm going to double book, and I'm going to probably apply 2 colors in between because she wants to be there for a little bit longer.
Well, I mean, if you're using semi-color, it's not going to hurt it to sit on any longer, right?
Right. So yeah, like there are those clients that just really don't care.
There are. So I think it's a good idea to maybe check in with your client when they come in and just be like, hey, how's it going? You know, kind of figure out where they're at in their day and what they've got going on. Because I have ended up in situations where I didn't check in with them. Like I just assumed, oh, you're here with your appointment. And then, 45 minutes before their appointment's scheduled to be done or whatever, but I'm not quite done. They're like, oh, I have to be at work at this time. And you're like,
you're going to be late.
That's not going to work. Like in the moment I was probably thinking, oh my God, I really wish she had told me that when she sat down. But really it's on me for not being like checking in and making sure. I mean, obviously you don't go into any appointments thinking, oh, I'm really going to run over, unless you already know that you're running behind, which we'll talk about that in a second. But,
well, I feel like in cases like that, and I know for a fact in the instance that you're talking about, because I witnessed it, it goes in the way of like during the consultation, this person wanted a huge change. And in your mind, you're thinking, oh, they know if they're going from super dark and they want ashy highlights, that they're going to be here for a minute. And that as a hairdresser, you know that it's going to take that amount of time.
Yeah, but
and
they don't know.
Sometimes in the heat of the moment, and I know for a fact this one, you had 2 of them there at the same time. Like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll totally do that. It may need 2 toners. That's going to add, 30 minutes? 30 minutes is a long time.
Especially when you're running late for work. You
right.
know? So, yeah, it can be good. And these are just all things that, like, there's always, it's inevitable that a situation will pop up that you're not prepared for, or you can get thrown off, right? So these are just not necessarily like rules, but guidelines to help minimize these situations, what we're going to talk about today.
Right.
Because stuff happens.
And so, like, and I know in the beginning of your career, you're going to be a lot slower than you have before, like stylists that have been muscle memory, you know? So what are some things that you could do to be conscious of your time and know exactly how long things take you to do?
Well, I would say when you come in the morning, take a look at your books, see what you've got. If anything looks awry, obviously without having had any consultations yet at first thing in the morning, if anything looks like it might get sticky or tricky, maybe plan ahead if you've got an assistant or an associate or even another coworker who might have some time there. Just preemptively be like, hey, this could get sticky. Are you going to be available? Can you stay close or whatever, so that if I need you, you can help me?
Right. Keep an ear open.
Yeah. Or if you can see something looking ahead clearly isn't going to work, take action in the beginning of the day.
And call someone.
Call somebody and be like, hey, blah, blah, blah. You know, and maybe it's a situation where it's like, oh, well, if this person doesn't mind sitting, then it will be fine. But you want to check that all out first and kind of like preemptively take a look at it. That being said, there's all kinds of situations where you look at your books in the morning, you have no idea that that's going to pop up.
Right.
So obviously, again, just preparing if you can.
Right.
So.
Well, and then going on to the part of like speeding up your time, you could, what I did at least whenever I was like focusing on trying to double book and learning how long does a full highlight take me? How long does it take me to apply a base color? Things like that. I wore a watch every single day religiously. And I mean, I hate wearing a watch, which is why I don't wear one now. And I would set it on that stopwatch and go. And whenever I finish, I would stop it. Okay, that took me 35 minutes.
That's really smart, because then you can put it in that client's file. Because, like, not every highlight's going to take you 35 minutes. One might be an hour and 15 minutes. One might be, you know, because we all have those clients that have way too much hair for any human.
Right.
And you're foiling it. No matter how fast you are, it's still going to take you an hour to get through it.
Oh, you know, absolutely.
That does exist. So that's smart, because then that.
Because then you know you can like later adjust the times on that client or come up with an average and know that like for every full highlight, I want to book an hour, or I want to book an hour and 15 minutes. That way you are on time for your next guest every single time. And if you see that there is a moment in the, like during the day that you are running behind, you could always call your next guest. And something that I found works better most of the time whenever it's something that your guest isn't really going to be happy to hear, is it's best if it comes from you. I know it takes extra time when you're running behind, but it is always better coming from you than from a front desk or a receptionist or something like that, because then your guest can kind of empathize with you running behind versus the front desk saying, hey, we need to move your appointment and inconvenience you.
Yeah. Well, and I do think there are situations where maybe you're just not going to be able to step away.
Right.
And in that case, if you have to have the front desk call, just have them, if they could even be like, Hunter just wanted me to call you and let you know this is how he's really busy and this happened, or whatever it may be, make sure that they're apologetic and you know, make sure there's some sort of maybe verbiage that's like showing appreciation, and not just like, hey, we need to move your appointment, but like, Hunter wanted me to call you and kind of give you a heads up that XYZ is the situation, you know, and if there's another option maybe for the client to come in a different day, have that. If not, just let them know ahead of time so that they're informed before they stop what they're doing and drive to you.
Yeah. And I've had days where my first client is also the last client.
I have had those too. Yes.
Yeah. And I've had one even like recently that my first client was my last client of the day. I didn't really know that it was going to be that because it was booked for something else. I should have known to double check it or whatever, but I didn't. And that client was upset that they were there all day.
It does happen.
Because there's a difference between taking your time on a basic highlight and like wasting a client's time, right? And a transformation.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
There's a huge difference in those two things. And I guess we can kind of, after this break, we can dive into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Who wants better sex this new year?
I mean, I think everybody does, right?
Right? Well, you know who could help with that, Ericka?
Adam and Eve, baby.
That's right. With Adam and Eve, at adamandeve.com, you can get 50% off and free shipping. And let me tell you, when I met Bradley, he made it very clear that he did not pay for shipping of any kind. Yeah. I don't remember quite what the conversation was.
How that came up.
He just says no.
Just
So he's super excited that we have this discount code.
That's hilarious. Well, speaking of shipping, not only is your shipping going to be free, but Adam and Eve does a great job of discreet shipping. If you live in an apartment complex like me, they drop that package right off on your front door. You don't want anybody knowing what's in that bag. Right. I mean, maybe you do, but I sure didn't. So I was really grateful that it is discreet, plain packaging. Nobody's going to know what's in that bag, box, whatever it may be.
So how do they get this amazing deal?
So in order to get this amazing deal, you are going to have to go to adamandeve.com. You're going to pick out your item, and then you're going to enter BRB pod
in the discount
code, and that's going to give you 50% off any one item of your choosing. 6 free sexy movies. Ooh. And a couple bonus items.
All right. And that's not all.
What else?
You also get free shipping.
Oh, free shipping. And
how could you forget the free shipping?
Well, we already talked about it, so I thought y'all knew. But in case you need a reminder, free shipping.
50% off.
3 free bonus items. And
6 sexy movies, baby.
6 sexy movies.
So make 2023 sex the best sex of your life and use our code BRBPOD at checkout for 50% off plus free shipping and 3 bonus items.
And 6 movies.
That's a lot to remember.
It is a lot to remember, but it's also a lot to have fun with. So use our code BRBPOD at checkout and have a great evening.
That's right. Ergo Styling Tools is designed with ergonomics of a hairdresser in mind. So you never have to worry about your hands hurting during a blow dry ever again. They also have a new recently extended super gentle collection plus their original Ionic paddle brush and their original Ionic round brushes.
I'll tell you what, I do love me the Ergo brushes. When I worked in a blow dry bar, that was the only brushes I used because I'm blow drying all day long. And the handle, the balance, all of it. It's great.
Great. And for our listeners, you can get 10% off of your Ergo Tools order if you just go to ergostylingtools.com/Hunter. And then use the code HUNTER at checkout. And that's HUNTER in all caps.
You know, I can put myself in the situation of somebody who is, you know, popping in after work and has to make it home to get to their kids to feed them dinner or something like that.
Or sometimes clients come in on their lunch break even.
Yeah, that too, you know.
And like they have an hour to have a color retouch. You could ideally have a color retouch done in 1 hour. Like, honestly,
like
quick,
a retouch
easy.
and a blow dry. Yeah. Out. It is possible. As long as everything in your day is running consistently,
Right.
And you've stayed on top of it, you know?
Exactly.
But again, if that's something that the client needs, you definitely want to know that in the consultation.
Absolutely.
So that they're not just, you're thinking, oh, she's just a base touch-up. Let me shampoo this person first real quick. When she's over here like, oh, my God, I have 7 minutes to get out of this building, and there's still color in my hair.
Right.
You know? So just check in with them. How's it going? You know, not that you're like, so how long do you have to spend with me today? But just ask, you know, you could just be like, all right, what do you got going on after this? Do you need to be out of here
I would say
time?
that's like a thing where it would be on the client to express that they have something that they needed to do versus it's not necessarily your responsibility to check on their time, but it is your responsibility to have a consistent workflow so that they know that they can book
yes, exactly,
and come in and do those things with you, because the consistency is what matters every single time.
True.
And I've had people tell me like they like that quick in and out because time is money for them. And some people don't have 2 to 3 hours to spend in the salon when they just want their roots retouched. And I think, like, there's a difference between that client and the client who comes in for a consultation first and knows that they're coming in for a 4 to 5 hour session with you.
Truth.
You know? Because then you're going to book accordingly. And it's not that you're taking your time and charging hourly. It's that you are doing everything for the hair to be good. In a timely fashion, hopefully, because you're charging by the hour.
Right.
And I feel like there's a shift in our industry where there are a lot of stylists that are charging hourly, and then they're taking forever to do the service.
Gotcha. Yeah. And we've talked about that a little bit. Yeah.
Yes. How the slowest foiler in the salon says that she's going to switch her pricing to hourly, but it's not necessarily that your foiling is better because you're charging hourly. You're just slower, and now you're making more money off of someone, and the value has decreased because their time is being taken away.
Right. So, I mean, I think that's a good point, too, because there is a lot of talk amongst us as hairstylists. This industry has changed a lot since I first got into it, like a whole lot. And there is a lot of talk about us as stylists and what our value is and understanding our value in this and that. But it's like we have no value and we have no business if it's not for our clients' time and their value. So, like, yes, knowing that stuff ahead of time is great. There are going to be situations where it is. But if you can get yourself in to where you are consistent, or at least, you know, maybe your foiling time for a medium foil isn't consistent across all clients, but you know that Susan S is going to take you 45 minutes to foil. So she is always booked for those 45 minutes. And Tanya G over here, it only takes 25 minutes to get her foil. So she's booked for 25 minutes. And so I have never done that with the stopwatch. I mean, I've tried to, like, we all know how scattered my brain is.
Ericka's a stop and talk kind of worker.
I am a stop and talk. And I mean, I honestly have been thinking about that a lot myself lately, because I'm like, I have to get to a point where I don't talk to my clients so much. Like, I know that sounds stupid, but like, I can get distracted in a conversation so easily, and I have a hard time foiling and talking at the same time. So, if you are like me, try to be aware of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it has gotten me into trouble. I mean, I've been better at managing at times in my career than I have at others. But that can get you in trouble, you know?
Yeah.
If you're not on top of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, it can. Because then you're running late for the next person.
A lot of us stylists are creative. We're expressive. We're tend to be on the neurodivergent side, most of us, you know. So sometimes, and part of that is that we're all different. I'm not saying everyone who is neurodivergent is bad with time. Right. I happen to be. But just knowing yourself and knowing, you know, being honest with yourself about what you maybe suck at or need to work on, that for me is something that has been an issue my entire career.
Absolutely.
You know? So it's not like I'm not aware of it. But maybe there are times where I could definitely focus on it more and be better about it.
Right.
And you're not going to grow if you're not honest with yourself about what you need help in.
Absolutely,
which can be one of the hardest things to admit or even realize.
Yeah.
When it's you.
Absolutely. Well, and I want to like tiptoe back into what you said about how we talk a lot about our stylists, respecting stylists, our value, knowing our value. And this goes right into it, is like, if we are respecting our clients' time, because at the end of the day, we are in the service industry. We provide services for the public.
Mm-hmm.
If we're respecting their time and getting them in and out in the timely manner, offering them everything that we have to offer, and going above and beyond, that sets the standard for then how they treat us.
Yes, exactly.
And I don't know if you've ever heard, like, you can't give respect without giving it first.
Yeah.
But that was preached to me when I was growing up, and I feel that is so true. I would have such a hard time respecting someone else's time if they didn't respect mine.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it is our job to respect their time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whether they respect ours or not, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's one of those things where it's like, you can have a conversation with them, but it is your job to provide a service and do your best job.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good point too, because like, if we, we do talk a lot about like, oh, you're gonna be late and this and that, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's the golden rule we were all taught as kids: do unto others as you would have them do unto you, or however you received that message, something to that degree. We've all been taught that. And it is a basic rule of common decency. Like,
right.
I'm not going to expect you to bend over backwards if, like, I've not
ever done the same
gone
for
out
you.
of my way. Yeah, or shown you at least some sign of respect that I would do that for you. And it is true. Like, I'm thinking about it sometimes. I'm like, I hate it when I run late for certain appointments because that person is never late for me. Or, like, I am the queen of forgetting my pre-booked appointments, which I have this whole guilt trip over every time because I would freak out if people did that. Like, I hate it when people do that to me, Oh,
like you're waxing it, like your personal appointments.
I will say, I get one reminder. One reminder text. Okay? We give out 5. So, that's all I'm saying.
I remember whenever I was using like a booking software when I was independent, I made it, it gave you options of how many reminders you wanted to send out. I sent out the max amount. I think it was 4 reminders. So there was like 48 hours, 24 hours, an hour.
I would choose all those options. Click, 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 click. All of them, please.
Yes.
Yeah. It's amazing how quickly I can space out on something.
Well, and that's what I love about all my appointments. I get a bunch of those texts. I'm like, yes, I remember now. I remember. I will be there.
Yes. I can forget something in 6 minutes, so it doesn't always work like that for me. But that being said, it's like, it is easy to put yourself in, or it can be hard to remember and sometimes easy to forget. But if you take the time to put yourself in, the operator's shoes, you can remember, like, okay, this and this and this. I want to be my person running on time. I want to be able to predict this. So just the same respect that you would expect as a client, you want to make sure you are extending to your clients, because they are your clients and they are paying your bills and they are providing your lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
If
I've always said that, though. Like, this person's paying my bills. I have nothing bad to say about them.
Yeah, exactly.
It drives me crazy whenever I hear people talking crap about their clients that are paying their bills.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, she could be a lot sometimes, sure.
Yeah.
But
right.
I mean, my lights are on.
Exactly. Well, and there are certain people that can be more difficult or whatever, and some certain people,
you have to take your shoes off outside.
Yeah, personalities are different, whatever. But the one thing that should be consistent is respect for that person and their time, and
absolutely,
and hey, we all have those clients that we're like, okay, we tell her appointment's at 10:30, so she'll be here by 11, right?
Well, yes, there is a person like that used to come to our salon. I don't think that she's able to come anymore, but I'll tell that little story real quick, because she was baffled that I wasn't about to do her hair after her being 45 minutes late. And so yeah, like I was scheduled one of my coworkers' friends, and she normally does her hair, and she operates a lot differently than I do. Her brain allows her to focus on all of these different things going on at the same time. I'm very type A. My schedule is planned out that way too. Like I am to a T, 45-minute, 35-minute kind of blocks. And this person, or 30-minute, not 35. I don't know why I said that. But this person happened to show up 45 minutes late and said that their stylist would normally just see her because that's how she works. She was like, oh, you don't work like that? And I said, no, we run on time around here. It's 45 minutes late. If I start on your hair, that means I only have 15 minutes to foil you, which means I'm probably going to be about 30 to 45 minutes late for my next client. And that's not right. That's not really cool. Like, you wouldn't want to sit and watch me do someone else's hair for 45 minutes when you had an appointment, would you?
Yeah.
And so she had to reschedule. She did not reschedule with me because she did not like my answer. But that is okay because she didn't respect my time. And so I wasn't about to respect hers by giving her what she wanted.
Right. Yeah. And it's like we could flip-flop that situation and say you were the stylist running 45 minutes late.
Right.
She wouldn't be expected to sit there and,
I would have done everything in my power to get someone else to help or something.
Yeah.
We do have to take a little break.
Okay.
And then we'll share another story and hop on off for the day. So, Ericka, do you have a story to share of a time where you've turned someone away or for not being on time to their appointment?
I have to admit, I'm really bad about that.
You will always just do it?
A lot of times will just do it.
So tell us, how does that affect the rest of your day when you do that, though?
It does throw it off. It does throw it off. I'm trying to think of like a particular time, and nothing is really coming to mind like right this moment.
Well, I did throw you on the spot.
Yeah. That's okay. But I know there have been times where I've had somebody booked. I don't know.
I don't know why I'm having anxiety about the camera. I don't know if it's recording.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it recording?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
I was like, I don't remember hitting the button.
I know that there have been times over the years where somebody is, 15. Most salons have like a 15-minute policy, If I cannot do it, I will say I can't do it. You have to reschedule. But if I can work it in, I usually do. Well, which might not be good because maybe then I'm teaching those clients that they can
be late. You're right.
So yeah, I'm probably not the one to shell out the best of advice on that, but at least I'm honest about it.
Well, I feel like you get into situations a lot of times where you have a bunch of people there at once, and I'm almost wondering if that's why, is because you've had a client that's like 15 minutes late, but
definitely, I know that has added to it too sometimes, but a lot of it is my mouth. I'm just being honest.
Well, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I've had a client who like specifically requested I spend more time with her during her appointment. Like, she came to I've been doing her hair for a really long time, like before I got busy. And she's one of those clients that I think we talked about it in the Friends and Family episode, how like she was an OG, so she had OG VIP pricing or whatever. So she wasn't paying full price, and I would put her in there with a bunch of people because I knew her hair, I knew how quick I could do it, all of the things. But she mentioned to me how it upset her that I had so many things going on while she was there, and she missed her time with me because she comes to me because she really, like, she enjoyed like our relationship and how we would converse and things like that. And sadly, she has not been back since I did her hair one more time. And of course, something happened where I ended up being with someone else at the same time. Even though I put a note to not double book it, I didn't block out the processing time.
Yeah.
And I had a haircut. And so I haven't seen her since. So it goes to show, though, that the time really matters.
It does.
To our people. And we could get really up in the mix of our day and thinking about how numbers and getting this amount of people in and doing X amount of dollars in the day. And we can forget that we are dealing with people.
Yeah.
And people have feelings, and feelings are not facts. However, people make emotional decisions, and they spend their money where their emotion is. So if they're not feeling that emotion from you and the care from you about their time and about them being in your chair, they don't see the appreciation, they're not going to spend the money with you. So,
well, there's a bajillion other stylists, so.
Right. A gajillion even, maybe.
A bajillion.
Yeah. I don't even know the word for how many there are, basically. But yeah, just to kind of like wrap it all up, people have feelings, and they spend their money where their feelings are. And if they're not feeling you, they're not going to spend their money on you. And you can add value by simply just being on time to your appointments.
Yeah. You know, I think the main message for this episode, honestly, really could be summed up in, like, you have to show the respect that you expect to get back.
Absolutely.
Right?
I agree with you.
And there are going to be times where those things pop up, where you are running late or you wind up double booked or triple booked when you weren't supposed to be. And it does happen. It does happen.
That does not mean you are a bad stylist.
Conversations save lives. Talk, communicate, prepare if you can. If you can't, do your best to stay calm. And you know what? Hopefully you happen to have that person who's like, yeah, girl, no problem. Take your time, whatever you need. And then you go ahead and you take care of her and you give her a little conditioning treatment or a little something to say thank you for understanding and being grateful, you know, to that client while taking care of and catching up. But if you can avoid it at all, it's going to really help your business, your retention, and your consistency and your relationship with your clients, because they're going to you're showing them the respect that you hopefully get back from them. So.
Right. Absolutely. You can be consistent in two ways. You can be consistent in a good way, and you can be consistently bad. Yeah. So just keep that in mind. Just because bad things happen doesn't mean you are consistently bad. But, you know.
Yeah.
Well, until next week, if you'd like to follow us on our social media journeys, I'm at Herrick's Hunter on all the things.
And I am Ericka the Redhead on all the things.
And our podcast is at Breakroom Banter Pod on all of the things. We also have a Patreon.
I look like I have meningitis. I did purple yesterday.
Oh. I was like,
why?
What? I'm confused. Well,
podcast, Instagram, and
we'll
TikTok
talk about that.
Our Breakroom Banter Pod.
Yep, and we will talk about your meningitis breakout on the After Pod on Patreon. Whoa.
I'm
on
yawning.
Patreon. Okay, we gotta go. Until next week. Bye.